Here's something new for us on the evening of 9/11. We've talked about reflecting across the x-axis and the y-axis and vertical lines x equals and y equals, but what do I do when I'm reflecting across a diagonal line? This is the line x equals y. We also call it y equals x. It's very helpful here to use your patty paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace A, B, C, D. Make sure you label, of course. If you don't have your patty paper at home, you just want to be copying this down so you're getting the sense of how things are moving around. So what I'm going to do when I reflect, of course, is I want to cross over this line, and I just want to flip my image. The reason I highlighted your origin here is to make sure when we flip it, we can line everything up nice and pretty. So a lot of us think that when we do our reflection, it'll wind up like this. But if you see our line of reflection, I'm not even close. Well, Miss Meyer, if you just flip it around, no, still not good. Even though A and B got flipped, I'm not flipping around my line of reflection. I have to line up that line of reflection with the origin, and what we actually see is we wind up here. A prime, B prime. See, I didn't want to make a mistake here. C prime and D prime. Let's look at this. A was originally at -3, 5. A prime is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -3. Interesting. So it looks like my x and y values swapped. Let's try it with C. Our C value was at -3, 1, and our C prime value is at 1, -3. So we have a rule now that when we're going to reflect across y equals x, we're going to have y, x as our new coordinates. That is not any of the same things that you see in the packet that I gave you today. These are all rotations, and you'll notice that none of them are y, x. So when we reflect across the line y equals x, our coordinates flop. Let's try reflecting across the line y equals -x. I wonder what's going to happen there. So here's my origin, my line of reflection. Can you make a hypothesis about what's going to happen to our x and our y values? Do you think it's going to be the same rule, or do you think it's going to be a different rule? So let's reflect. So reflect means to pick it up and flip it. So we just flip it right over. I did a very poor job there. And we're going to wind up like so. This is, let's see, what is that? That's R? Yeah, this is R over here. And we have G down here and P here. Interesting. Look at how close P is. So P is diagonally straight across from itself. Cool. P was originally at 1, 1, and now it's at -1, -1. G was originally at 4, 1, and G prime is at -1, -4. So I wonder what the rule is here if I compare up and down. Let's go to R, see if R will help us sort this out. R is at 2, 4. So do you think R prime is going to be at -2, -4, or at -4, -2? It is at -4, -2. So my rule here is instead of my x and y's just flopping, it's negative y, negative x. Whatever my x was becomes my y value but negative, and whatever my y value was becomes my x value but also negative. Well, that's nifty. We have one more. What about reflecting across the line 2x minus y? Try and draw in what 2x minus y looks like as a line first. Where is your intercept, and then what's your slope? Your intercept would be negative 1, and then your slope would be positive 2. And we're learning that a straight edge makes everything better. There we go. So I'm going to reflect this image across this line. And I want to see if there's a rule for that or if it's just random. Because it could be random. So here's my line of reflection. Here's my image, BRG. Remember to label your dots, otherwise it's hard to figure out where you came from. So there's BRG. Now am I going to rotate like that? No, I don't want to do a rotation. I want to flip. I want to reflect. So I'm going to reflect like so. And I wind up like this. You see the limits of patty paper because it's not super precise. Let's see, this was B over here, so B prime, G prime, and R prime. B was 3, 0. B prime doesn't have a 3 or a 0 in it. It's negative 1, 2. That's weird. R was 1, negative 4, and R prime is negative 3, negative 2. Huh, that's interesting. I'm kind of seeing a pattern though. Let's do G just to see if that pattern will finish coming out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and negative 4. And G prime wound up at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1.